It's a little tippy. A little tippy. We got it. Just gotta tighten up that hip belt. Hey there, I'm Adam Trenkamp, the lab test editor here at the Outside Lab at CU Denver. Today we're going to talk to you about backpacking packs and specifically the load capacity of packs. So in the lab, we like to look at everything with our gear, and one of the things we're going to look at with packs is load capacity and effective load. So when you wear a pack and you have a whole bunch of weight to keep you out in the backcountry for one night or 15 nights or 6 months if you're doing a through hike, the hip belt is meant to carry a part of that weight. A lot of times what you'll hear is the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the weight in your pack should be on your hips, 20% on your shoulders. That's going to shift as you walk throughout the day and you hike, or even as you load your pack a little bit differently. But the theory stands. You should have more weight being held on your hips than on your shoulders. So when we test for effective load, what we look for is when does too much of the weight slip past the hip belt and start to go on the shoulders, and that's the effective load for each pack. Some packs are designed to carry more weight than others, and we want to find out which ones those are and how much weight each pack can carry appropriately. All right, let's see how effectively Steve carries some weight here. We're gonna call him Steve. That's his name for today. That wasn't very effective. So to test effective load of the packs, we use these flexible force sensors that plug into the computer via some USB cables here. So they read the force as it pushes down through the pack. So to make sure we get the force around the whole pad when the backpack pushes down, we 3D printed some little knobs you can see stuck on top of the pad. That lets us read all 4 corners of the force sensor and make sure we're getting a good representation of the weight through the shoulder pad. So once we get our force sensor set up on our mannequin, we grab the pack and we get set up. You can see with some lines we've marked out where the top of the hip bones are for our mannequin. We use that to get our hip belt aligned with every pack. Go, hip belt set. All right, now we tighten our shoulder straps. Once our backpack is fit, we go ahead and hook our force sensors up. Once we're plugged in, we make sure our forces seem accurate, which is basically we shouldn't be reading much force at all with just the pack because we have an empty pack. And then we zero out our load and start from there. So we use some sleeping pads to stuff at the bottom of the pack. Typically, this is where you're gonna pack your sleeping bag or your low weight, bulky items to help push any heavy weight to the middle of your pack. Sleeping pads give us a little extra weight at the bottom of the pack, but still allow us to stack truly heavy weight on top. So since we're trying to test the actual effective load of the pack, if we just stuck some really low weight, bulky items at the bottom of the pack, we're gonna have a harder time fitting a ton of weight in here. So by using these sleeping pads, each of these are about 1.5 pounds. We're able to add 3 pounds to the bottom of the pack to start. And now we have some support for our heavy weight. To do the test, for all these packs, we start with a 13-pound weight. We record how much is being shown on these shoulders, and then we slowly add 5 pounds at a time after this. So we keep adding weight to the packs until the force sensors on our shoulders tell us that more of the weight is actually being carried on the shoulders than the hips. So once that 50% mark shifts, even though we wanna hold the 80-20 rule with only 20% on the weight of the shoulders as long as we can, we keep adding weight to the test until that 50% mark shifts and a majority of the weight is now on the shoulders. And then that's our effective load point. So we can look at it as like, what's the best weight, but then what's the true effective load of where does the hip belt fail and now a majority of the weight is on your shoulders. So me and Steve here, we're gonna keep testing, but first I think he needs a little bit of a break and I'm gonna help him get out of here. So we're gonna unhook Steve from science and we'll see you. Oh God, Steve, that's so much weight. We'll see you later.